Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at Joann.com. Today is week number 1 of the mystery. Today I'm going to kick you off. We're going to get started, but let me tell you a little bit more and then we're going to dive right into the studio and get you on your way. So a couple weeks ago I told you that you're going to need Bernat blanket yarn. That is our yarn of choice. You know what, it's really quite a fabulous time right here on the Crochet Crowd as well as Joann.com. Don't forget that we have an events page and you can share your work in progress or any questions that you may have. I'm going to be snooping around there. You got people from Joann there, but you also have stitchers just like you also participating, and our knitter friends are also using the same page so you can see what they're up to at the very same time. When using Instagram or any social platforms and you're sharing any photos of your work in progress or anything, please don't forget to use our hashtag of handmade with Joann as well as the Crochet Crowd. We'd love to be tagged so that we can keep an eye on your progress and see what you have in mind for your color combinations. Without further ado, let me tell you a little bit more about what's going to happen in today's tutorial, and then I'm going to kick you off and we're going to head on to the studio and get started. So today is all about getting started. I think you're going to have a great time. So this is going to be kind of like the setup for the rest of the week. So each time you get a different week, there will be a different set of pages to be able to add to your pattern. So maybe grab a little binder and then keep adding those to it. So we're going to do a quick pattern review to make sure that you understand what we're up to. We're also going to be doing a swatch. Now the test swatch is to make sure that your hook matches the particular project so that when you get to a certain size, it's not going to start buckling on you. We're going to do a test swatch together and then we're going to start and do the mystery. The fabulous thing about this one is at the end of this clue, we're going to do some surface crochet. Not sure what that is? Don't worry about it. We'll get to it when we get to it. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio because now it's time to get going. This video has sound alerts added. When you hear this sound, it will be your signal that the segment is finishing up. Press stop and crochet the instructions and then press play again to continue along in your project. So let's begin week number 1. So we're going to get started today and there's a few things that we need to do before we get started. We're going to do a quick review of this pattern and we're also going to do a gauge check in order to make sure that you are going to get off to the right start. So today we're going to look at this pattern and it also comes with the crochet diagram that is on page number 2 and you can follow that as well, and then you're going to put that aside and then wait for week number 2 in order to begin. So first thing that we need to do is let's take a quick look at the pattern and decipher it a little bit and then we'll do a gauge check. So right off the hop we're going to see our colors that we're going to be using today, and we have 4 colors for this entire project that we're going to be using, and you can see that the ball counts are here as we go. It's also recommending a size L and 8mm crochet hook, but it says or size needed to obtain gauge. That is so important for you because if your gauge is different from what the designer was, then it will not sit flat. And I'll show you how to check your gauge in order to get off to the right start. So within today's pattern you're going to notice that all these abbreviations are used inside, and as we go through the pattern you're going to notice that as we run across them, but don't let that really stop you from really being successful because we're going to go step by step in today's tutorial. So on the next page what we have is that we have a crochet diagram that is here. So for those that like to follow a crochet diagram, instead of reading all the words, you can do that right here and just follow along and then use the words as a backup method in order to go. So you can see that we're going to go through all the way to round number 7 before we stop and then end up on the second week for this mystery crochet along. So I want to direct your attention to the gauge. Now the gauge is the amount of stitches in the row and the amount of rows in the height in order to equal a 4" by 4" swatch. So what we need to do is that we need to do a test swatch in order to determine whether the 8mm size L is right for you or not. And if it doesn't work out to be the 4 inches, then we know that we have to adjust our hook one way or another for changing the size when keeping our yarn in balance with this particular project. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to show you how to make a gauge based on these information here, and then let's get started. So we're not going to waste any yarn, so just grab your Bernat blanket yarn and then grab the size 8mm size L crochet hook in order to begin. So let's begin working on a gauge swatch, and this is really quite quick and easy. Do not cut this yarn after you're done. We're going to pull it apart and then use it in the project, so it's not like it's wasted yarn. We're going to start off with a slip knot to begin, and it says that the gauge swatch was 7 single crochets by 8 rows. So what we can do for the swatch, because it says 7 single crochets, we're going to chain a total of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So what we need to do is that we need to go second chain from the hook. So count back 1 and 2. Just turn it around and get the back loop of that chain of that second one over, and just single crochet into that one, and keep single crocheting across your chain in the back loop of the chain as you go. And so when you did the 8 chains, when you went second chain from the hook, this should equal 7 single crochets as you make your way all the way back. So please just single crochet all the way to the other side. It's just gonna take you a moment, and then we're going to then continue up to do the rows in order to measure the gauge. So this is gonna be counted as row number 1 by the time you get to the other side. And I'm there in just a moment. Might as well just keep the camera going, and we're gonna go into that last one and then turn our work. So what we're gonna do is, this is row number 1. So on a spare piece of paper, and you can write on the pattern if you want, just check off that you did row number 1, and I'm gonna do that here off camera. And I'm gonna turn my work and begin the next row. So to begin the next row, chain 1, and then starting right in the first one is that you're going to single crochet in that one plus all of its friends in the row. So just single crochet all the way down, and this will be row number 2. So what I want you to do is that I want you to do a total of 8 rows all together, and then meet me back here in just a moment, and then we'll do an analysis with the tape measure to see how we're doing. So now back, I just was a few moments ago, and then I just completed my swatch. So there's 8 rows of single crochet here, and now I'm gonna take a measurement. I've already done it off camera just to make sure I got it right too, but I've already done a sample off camera as well before even doing this to make sure that my tension was correct. So all you're just gonna do is you're gonna take a tape measure, and you're gonna lay it down, and you can see that it's 4 inches, so that we know that the 7 single crochets across with equals 4 inches, and then we're just gonna measure in the height, and we also see that it's 4 inches, and so that we know that this gauge is right. So what happens if this swatch was too small? So say you were at about just under 3.5 to 3, it means that you're tight, and then all you just need to do is increase your hook size. So maybe even go up to a 10mm size N as in Nancy crochet hook in order to retry again, and then just pull this apart and retry. Now if your sample is way too big, like maybe 4.5 or 5, then what I would do is take your crochet hook and reduce down to a smaller gauge, maybe a 7mm, or in between a J or a K and the L, just like so. So like a 7mm if you need to. So just be relaxed. Remember that your gauge is dependent on your mood swings as well, so it will change, and just make sure that you're relaxed when you're going to work on this particular project. And of course crochet makes you relax as well. So now that we know our tension's good, we're just gonna take this project now, and we're just gonna undo it and then put it back in the ball so we don't waste any more yarn. So let's take a look at the diagram, and let's get started on the first round. So in the beginning I mentioned that there's a diagram on page number 2. Each one of the clues will have a diagram for us to be able to follow, plus you have the written words for confirmation for those that expect it, and then also for those that just are visual, you can follow along with me on camera as well, and then we're gonna get it done. But I'm gonna refer to the diagram element here. It's the easiest way to show what's exactly happening. So let's zoom in on this, and let's take a look at what we're seeing in the diagram, because I think you'll find that quite helpful. So in each one of the clues you're gonna have a diagram that's available to you, and it's basically a roadmap of everything that you need to look at. So regardless if you're left or right handed, we're always going to start, and we're going to go into a counterclockwise as we go around. So we start off in the very middle, just like you see here. So how many chains do you have to start off in the middle? You can just count those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you're not sure, you can go back to the directions at the top, and it says to chain 6. So it's actually kind of a neat idea. This is called a stitch key. Everything that is in this diagram is mentioned here, and of course you can just use your information as far as like if there's something really special, it'll be in the actual clue abbreviations as well. So you're going to notice that this is really quite an easy thing. So even though the stitches appear upside down here, just to visualize it like a record, and as you turn the project it's like a steering wheel, and everything just always stays in the top as you go all the way around. So don't worry about the orientation of these stitches, it never changes. So we're gonna get all the way back to the beginning just like so, and then we're going to then just continue to work our way up into round number 7. So I'm gonna bring you back to this diagram in between repeating each one of the steps to make sure you know what you're doing. But first let's grab our 8mm size L crochet hook or whatever one that you used for your gauge that you determined, and we're gonna start round number 1 together. So let's begin. So let's begin. I'm going to use my vintage white. It looks really amazing with this color. I normally would not do white on a white background, but it's totally worth it. So just bear with me as we get started today. So we're going to start off by chaining 6. It said that in there, but it's also in the diagram. So let's just rotate our hook and pull through as it chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and insert our hook into the beginning chain, and then yarn over and pull through, and you will have an open centerpiece just like you see here. And this tail here, you're just gonna want to wrap it around like it's part of it in order to get lost within the stitch work. So let's begin round number 1. So in round number 1 we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and this counts as a double crochet, and it's so important that you know that because you don't want to put any extra stitches in at this point. So you want to come back into the center of the ring and you want to double crochet. So keep this straggler down on top of the ring so it gets stuck into position, and double crochet right into the center of the ring. Just like that. So we're going to continue around the center. We're going to chain 1 first and then come back into the center of the ring, and we're gonna double crochet 2 more times now once, and this is like the very beginning. The chain 3 counted as a double crochet, and then we double crocheted to giving you 2 in a row, and this now is 2 double crochets in a row if you look at it from that perspective. So chain 1 and then double crochet into the ring again twice, and then chain 1 and then double crochet again twice, just like you see here, and then chain 1 and double crochet again twice, just like you see here, and then chain 1, and you want to double crochet. If you're running out of space again, do a double crochet twice, but if you're running out of space just move the stitches around because you're only playing in the ring, and then chain 1, and then you're gonna want to count the number of 2 double crochets that are together. So we're gonna count these together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are the pairs together. We need to get a total of 7, so just shift around this center spot in order to make room, and you want to double crochet again 2 more times, so that'll give you 7 pairs. You want a total of 8 pairs, and then chain 1, and then again back in to the center 2 more times just like you see here, and then chain 1, and then you're going to want to slip stitch it to the top of the first chain 3, and then what I'm gonna do is that we just slip stitch to the top of the center of the chain 3, and then all I'm just gonna do is that I'm just gonna pull things around on the center here to bring it in balance, and I'm also gonna get rid of the straggler that's right in the beginning as well. So we're now back on the diagram, and we just finished off round number 1. So in round number 2 what we're going to do, and I'm just gonna circle that, make sure I did it, and then I'm going to move up to round number 2. So round number 2, see where we're going to start? We're gonna start in the first chain 1 space instead. So we're gonna have to slip stitch over in order to get there. Chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, put 2 more double crochets into this chain 1 space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, 2 chains here, and then 3 more double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and we're gonna continue to do that all the way around. So let's begin round number 2. So as mentioned, we have to go to the first chain 1 space right where I'm pinching and rubbing right here. So in order to get there we have to slip stitch. So we're already slip stitched into the top of the first chain 3, and we're going to move over 1 by slip stitching into the next double crochet, and then we're gonna slip stitch next one into the chain 1 space to begin. So now we're going to start. So chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and that counts as a double crochet, and you want to double crochet 2 more times into that same chain 1 space. And then you're going to chain 2. And we come to the next chain 1 space that you're gonna run into right here, and then you're gonna put 3 double crochets into that one. And that's gonna be the repeat pattern all the way around for this round. Okay, so let's just recap one more time. So you're gonna chain 2, and then move to the next chain 1 space and put in 3 double crochets into the next space. Please do that all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of this round and then we'll finish up this round together. So let's finish off round number 2 together. So you just got the 3 double crochets here in the last chain 1 space, and to finish off you have to chain 2 first and then slip stitch it to the top of the beginning chain 3. So I'm going to deviate a little bit from the pattern here. I'm allowed to do that, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to fasten off completely here because we're going to change colors, but if you prefer not to change colors this way, just follow the instructions in order to do it the way that the designer is saying. So either way you'll end up with the same result. This is my own personal preference. So cut your yarn and then just pull it through like so, and then I want you to weave in these ends, and I want you to go around these posts, and I want you to go in and out of these stitches to trap that into position, and you can also use a darning needle if you wish, if you don't want it to fall out. So as you continue then just to weave in your ends, just leave out the loose end out of the back side, and then we'll get rid of that later when we know it's insecure. So what you're gonna have now is that in the end of row number 2 you should have 8 groups of 3 with chain 2 spaces. So let's pull up the diagram and let's go on to round number 3. So in round number 3 you're gonna notice that there has slip stitching over, so if you wanted to carry that color and then change it later you can, but what I'd like to do is that I like to start fresh with the new color right into the first chain 2 space right here. So we're gonna fasten on right in the chain 2 space with the new color, chain up 3 which counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet back in, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets back into that chain 2 space, and then we're just gonna immediately come into the next chain 2 space and do the same thing. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and we're gonna continue that all the way around. Do not worry about this extended single crochet coming all the way down. We don't have to worry about that for a few more rounds. So without further ado, let's begin round number 3. So let's begin round number 3. I'm going to start off with the slip knot, so it's just extra security for myself, and put it onto the hook. So you can choose any chain 2 space if you're gonna do it the way I'm showing you. If you're gonna do it the way that the pattern suggests, then you gotta start where it shows you. So I'm just gonna go into any chain 2 space here, and I'm just going to fasten on the yarn. So I'm just gonna wrap it around and pull through like a slip stitch, and I'm gonna leave down this straggler down on top of the chain 2 space. So we're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and I want you to double crochet again, and what I want you to do is keep this straggler down on top of the line so that you can get it stuck underneath. So now the chain 3 and the first double crochet counts as 2 double crochet, then you're gonna chain 2 and then 2 double crochets back into that same chain 2 space. See how you're burying in this other yarn strand as you go? It just is easy way to do that instead of having to worry about it later. So you have 2 double crochet, 2 chain, 2 double crochet. So move to the next chain 2 space and do the same thing. So 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. So I want you to do that in every chain space going all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round for round number 3. As you come around on round number 3, you're gonna come to the end like so. So you had 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. You're just gonna immediately just slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 and keep this yarn color going, and you're going to notice it's gonna bowl up a little bit. Don't worry about it, it will flatten down in the next few rounds. So let's begin round number 4. Let's go back to the diagram. So back to the diagram we go. We're going up to round number 4. So right now we're just at the top of the first chain 3, so we're gonna have to slip stitch our way to the chain 2 space here, and then we're going to put in 3 chains here, which counts as a double crochet, and then we're gonna double crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this counts as 7 double crochets if you include that chain 3 as a double crochet. Then immediately you're going to jump to the next chain 2 space right here, and then put another 7. Jump to the next chain 2 space, and then another 7. Let's do that for round number 4. So let's begin round number 4. So we're at the top of the first chain 3 that we had started with, so we're gonna slip stitch into the first double crochet that we're gonna run into, which is the next one, and then we're gonna slip stitch right into the chain 2 space, which is the next one. So we're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna double crochet 6 more times into the same space. So let's count those together. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's what we have. So the chain 3 is to start, it counts as 1. So let's count those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you had 1 chain 3 and 6 double crochets, which gives you a total of 7. So then once you get that 7 done, you come to the next chain 2 space right here and you just put in another 7 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Please do that same thing going all the way around for all the chain 2 spaces that you'll run into. So as we finish up round number 4, you got your last 7 in here and we're just going to join to the top of the first chain 3 that you had started with over here. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna fasten off this yarn now and just stop it here from going any further. And what we're going to do is we're gonna bring back our cream color that we used in the center and we're going to continue then on to round number 5. But before we begin, just weave in your ends here and then we're going to begin on the diagram for round number 5 to see what we're up to for that. So in round number 5 we're going to start off with the new yarn here and we're going to start off with the cream color that we have right in the very beginning, and all we're just going to do is that we're going to start off in the first chain 3 and put in a single crochet. So chain up 1, single crochet in, and then single crochet in each one of the double crochets across, and then this one that is extending down, this is called an a long single crochet that you see here. And what we're going to do is that we're going to come all the way down and we're going to come into this around here and just put it together, and then we continue to single crochet and then the next one we come down in between. So let's begin round number 5 using a fresh color. So let's begin doing round number 5. So we're going to start off with a slip knot if you would like to do it my way, and then what we're gonna have is that you can choose any one of the 7 double crochets rounds that you go. Just make sure it's the first one of any one of the 7. So it can be there as long as it's the first one, and we're going to just go into the first one and attach it with a slip stitch. And I want you to lay down the straggler down on top of the row as you go. So we're gonna chain up 1 first, and then coming back into the same one I want you to single crochet into that first single crochet or double crochet that we had, and then we're just gonna single crochet into each one of the double crochets that we go across. Sorry about that. And we're just gonna continue along. I'm not really counting, I'm just actually looking for all the stitch work as I go. And if you are counting, there's only 7 stitches here. And you come into the last one and then you're about to jump. But you can't jump yet. You need to do that long single crochet. So what we have to do is that instead of just going into a gapping space, we're gonna jump down 2. So go not into this space but into this one here and just go around it. See, I'm just going right in. Do you see that? So just right into the space, grab it from behind and pull through, and then just give it some extra yarn like so, and then just finish it off like that. Okay, so it's a long single crochet. So then start in the first double crochet that you come into and keep on going. So just single crochet all the way until you get to the next one, like the next one that you're gonna run into. And I'll show that to you one more time. Okay, so we're about to jump to the next one, but we got to do that long single crochet. So just looking at the space, so 1 and 2, just jump down, come from and pull it from behind, give it a little bit of slack, and then finish it off, and then continue. So please do that all the way around for round number 5. So as you come all the way back around in round number 5, you're coming into the last double crochet, but you know what? You still have to do your extended or your long single crochet down. So just come on down and finish that up, and then you're going to slip stitch it to the beginning single crochet to finish off with. And then what we're doing is with this particular color we are done, and then we're going to move on to the next color for round number 6, and we'll bring back the diagram. So cut this off, weave in your ends, and let's start on number 6 together. So before we begin any further, you're going to have a question, and I know you are because I have the same question. So you're going to notice that this white looks like it's raised up. It is raised up. and you're thinking to yourself, you're about to move on and it's not raised up, this is a layer of surface crochet that it's done at the end of today's clue. So even though we're about to move on, it's still gonna look flat until we come, and what's gonna happen here in the instructions is that you can see that you have circle edging, and the last round we just did in round number 5 with the white, we're gonna do the circle edging around that particular stitch as that we go. So let's move on to round number 6. Let's zoom in, see what we're up to. So let's move on to round number 6. So we're gonna change the color here, and I'm gonna have my solid blue that I'm about to use, and I use that in my swatch, and we're gonna begin right in the section where there is a long single crochet down, and then we're going to then just a matter of just working our way across. You can see that there's single crochets in a row here, okay, and then we're gonna go to a half double crochet, 2 doubles, and then we're gonna do a treble, chain 3, and a treble into the same one, and then we continue all the way around. So you're gonna notice that it's just a matter of getting it like single crochets, and then it gets bigger and bigger to form a square, and then it comes narrow as we get closer to the round of the edge. So what's gonna happen here is that when we go to start off, we're gonna chain 2, and that will count as a half double crochet as you go, because you can see here in this middle sections there's a half double crochet each time that you go all the way around. So let's bring up our new color, and let's attach it to the top of the long single crochet, and let's begin to do that round. So let's begin our new color, and I'm just gonna create a slip knot to begin, and we're going to attach at the top of any one of the long single crochets. It doesn't matter which one you choose, it'll all be equal in the end. So you're going to just attach it with the slip stitch, and I want you to chain 2, and that counts as a half double crochet when you go to do this particular round. So the next 4 are going to be single crochets. So each one of these single crochets, you're just going to make them a single crochet in the blue. Lay down the blue on top of the line so that you can bury that underneath. So let's count those out together. So we got 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So now what we're going to do is that we're gonna get slightly bigger. So the next one will be a half double crochet. The next one will be, the next 2 actually will be a double crochet, so it makes those double crochets. So 1 and 2, and then finally the next one, and you'll notice that it is the long single crochet, just so that you have a reference point, is going to be a treble. So wrap that hook twice going into that stitch, and I want you to treble, and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then treble back into the same one. Now I'm gonna take you through a complete row as we do it right now, or it's a complete side. So let's begin the next side. So moving to the next stitch, there's gonna be 2 doubles in a row. So 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. The next one will be a half double crochet, and then the next 4 will be single crochets. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And you'll notice that the next one is an extend or a long single crochet. So we're gonna half double crochet there. Why do you think that we're half double crocheting in the middle of a side? That's because these are sunk in a little bit, right? So it's making up for the space for that. So next, the next 4 are going to be singles. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So your 4 single crochets have now been put in. The next one is going to be a half double by itself. The next 2 will be a double crochet each, and then the next one is going to be in the long single crochet. You see it here. So this one is going to be a treble, chain 3 and treble back into the same one. And you can just reverse this video at this particular point just to review on what one whole side looks like as you go all the way across, but at this point it should be turning into a square as you get all the way around. So please do that for the remaining, and I'll meet you at the end of this round in order to make sure you get the right conclusion. So we've just come up almost all the way around, and I just did my treble, my chain 3, treble into the same one, and now we're just gonna finish up. So the first 2 are just gonna each be a double crochet. So 1 and I got 2, and then the next one is a half, and then finally the next and final 4 should all be 1 single crochet each. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then all you're just going to do then is just join it to the top of the chain 2 that you had started with, just like that, and that concludes that round. So do not fasten off at this point, and what we're going to do is bring back the diagram one more time for round number 7 for the conclusion of today's mystery for week number 1. So finally, as we come around for the final clue that we have for week number 1 is number 7. So we're gonna just start up right where we are, and we're gonna chain up 1 and 1 single crochet into each one of the stitches, and then in the corners of the chain 3s you're gonna be 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets, and then just single crochet along all stitches until you get to the next chain 3 space. So 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets. So we're gonna do this for round number 7. We're not quite done though. We still have the circle edging that will need to be done after this round. So let's begin round number 7. You're gonna chain up 1, and right where you are, just right where you did the join, you're just gonna do a single crochet in, and then you're just gonna do 1 single crochet in each stitch going all the way to the corner. So you've been pretty conscious of your counting as you go, so I don't think you really need to count it. You can just trust in yourself. If you want to, you can. If you would like to count it, just count it on the diagram, and you're gonna go right to the first chain 3 space. So the chain 3 space is gonna be 2 single crochets, and then chain 2, and then 2 single crochets into the same space. That allows you to turn that corner nicely, and then just turn your work, and then just work your way down the side of just 1 single crochet in each until you get to the next chain 3 space, and then that's single crochet twice, 2 chains, and 2 single crochets. So please do that concept all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming up all the way back around. I want to make sure, and you should need to make sure as well, that you don't add in any extra stitches. Normally when you chain up 1 and you single crochet, sometimes it looks like that there's 2 stitches left, but there's actually only 1, and you want to make sure you go into the last one here and then join it. So it looks like this is part of an empty stitch, but it's not. If you look carefully, this stitch here already has something. So you're just going to join it to the top of the first single crochet, and then you're gonna fasten off this yarn, and you're gonna weave in your ends, and then that's it for the growth of this particular project for the right now. But what we're gonna do is that we're gonna do some surface crochet first, and then we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna leave you then for week number 2 as we continue our mystery. So just weave in your ends and just leave it aside, and then we're gonna just do some surface crochet using the original white that we had started with. Let's come right back and I'll show you how to do that. So let's do some surface overlay. So what we're gonna do is leave an extra long tail, and I want you to come back to round number 5. So round number 5 is when we did the single crochets pretty much all the way around with this extended drop down as you see. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna play within the post. So let me just grab a pencil here. So we're just gonna go around the post on round number 5 in order to pop it through one side and the other in order to make it work. So let's begin. We can choose any one, it doesn't matter, but I'd just be strategic about it and just go around the post. So just going around, okay, so just going in one side and out the other, and then just slip stitch it just to join it, and then chain up 1 and then 1 single crochet around the same one just for consistency. So you've left an extra long tail so you can use a darning needle to get rid of that extra yarn later. So you're just gonna move around, and then you're just gonna come to the very next stitch that's available to you, and then you're just going to just go around the post itself. The nice thing about this particular concept is that you don't have to worry about any stitches to count. You just have to look and get each one as you go. So just one side and into the other. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, I have to say. So this I thought was done at the time, but it's actually done as a surface overlay, and we're gonna go all the way around the post as you see. So see you at the end of this round, and this is the edging circle as we go around. So I'm just making my way all the way back around, and I'm just gonna slip stitch into the first single crochet that I started with, and I'm going to leave an extra long tail here as well. So what I want to do is that I want to use my darning needle and hide that in so that it brings balance to this whole thing, and you will just pull everything nice and tight, and we're going to use a darning needle and then hide things out. So let me just show you what it looks like from a distance. So here's what it looks like from a distance. I really thought, I was wondering if I was gonna have a buckle problem, but once you just work your way through the stitch work, you'll notice that it sits nice and flat for you. So what I'm gonna do is that I want to get rid of my tail ends for this white yarn that we have. So I left an extra long tail for myself. And all I'm just going to do is that I'm going to feed it through a darning needle. And I want to drag that yarn to the back side of the project. So just dive in through the white section, right down through it, and right to the back, and pull through. Okay, and when I pull through, I want to make sure it looks good on the front. And I want to weave it into this white section 3 times. So just go back and forth in the white. Don't go to the front side of the project. So if you see the needle jumping to the front side, you know you're too deep. So just keep it to the side and just go 1, and then just go back in the other direction for 2, and go back in the other direction for 3. And I want to do that especially on these ones here, because there's no other place really to hide them. You don't want them popping out the front because it's just surface overlay. So there's nothing real else to grab onto it because it's surface. So all you're just gonna do then is you take the one that you had started with, again same concept, just feed it onto the darning needle, dive it into the project right to the back side, and again what are you gonna do? You're just gonna go and stay on the white section. So I have extra tails that I need to deal with. So at the end of today's project, what you're gonna want to do is deal with all your tails and get them done over with, so that when you come back for week number 2 that you're all fresh and ready to go. So this will be the second time I'm diving in, and then go back a 3rd time. So 3rd time's a charm. It doesn't fall out on you then, and then you're good to go. So you can cut that right down. So as long as your tails are all woven in and they're not gonna fall out on you, see how I've been going right up over top, just give them a little tug as you go, and then you can just safely just come back. Because I know I trust myself, I can just safely just cut them all now, and you can cut as you go if you wish. Just turn it and make sure you don't miss any, and then I might as well do the last one over here, and then it's good to go then for Mystery Clue week 2. So do you think you know what this Afghan's gonna look like now? Not so sure, are ya? So you have to join me next week as we continue our mystery. You did some surface crochet today. Proud of you. We're gonna be doing it again next week, but just don't tell anybody I told you that. So we're gonna see you next week. We'll continue the mystery. We'll see you on the events page. Please post your work in progress here on Joanne as well as the Crochet Crowd, and we want to see your creativity. Don't forget our hashtags of Handmade with Joanne as well as the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you next week, and happy hooking. Bye.